I don't know if y'all smell. Do y'all smell that? I smell something here. Oh, that's what I smell. Hey, it's Tuesday night, so y'all already know what it is. It's your AFN Heavy Hitters Tuesday. But before I do that, hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let me go ahead and introduce your boy, the sixth man, KStylzz, aka the nose tackle. Stage left, as y'all already know, the mad scientist, the great one himself, Mad Mike Sports. And down here at the bottom, if y'all don't know by now, this is the minister, Jew Talk Sports. What's going on, fellas? What is going on, fellas?
I'm good. I mean, besides become something new, I swear every day is something. I'm something new. Today I was called a Rich McKay so that's the first I've ever. That's the first. Like, damn, how the hell you go from Matt Ryan stan? I'm a Arthur Smith stan. I hate Julio. I got bad energy towards Calvin Ridley. Mike Smith, you shouldn't be calling Mike Smith, but Mike Davis, you shouldn't be calling Mike Davis. I swear every day I'm something. So hey,
well, before you get another nickname after this show, let's go ahead and we got to do the right thing here, and that is the real roll call. If y'all don't know what that means, that is our pre-show shout outs. We can't get everybody, but we're gonna get a few of y'all, and we're gonna start off with Joseph Thornton. We got J-Dog in the building. We got Noah Tyndale. Make sure y'all show him some love and be on the tune out for his show on Wednesday, which will be tomorrow. We got Brian
exclusively on AFN, so please subscribe to AFN.
Exactly.
Jude, I got a question for you real quick. That just brought me up something. I got a question for you. So what's the word Dirty Bird coming back?
That's a good question.
I put you on the spot. I put him on the spot.
That's a good question. I really want to wait till after the season, to be honest with you guys, but you know what I'm saying? We might do a pop-up show here and there for the fans. For the fans,
you know. I got you.
I might do it for the fans, but he put me on the spot, but I think that's gonna be in the off season. I like to do it in the off season, but we'll see how the season play out, and it's all based off of what the fans want at the end of the day.
Okay.
So if the fans want what's the word Dirty Bird to come back before the season ends, I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. Look, how about I put it on my community tab? We're gonna vote.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll let the fans do. I'll let the fans vote on it. And then if they want what's the word Dirty Bird to come back early, then they might make a premiere. So y'all stay tuned to AFN. Y'all stay tuned.
Hey, exactly. Hey, I think the people been wanting it. Hell, I think they might be wanting Mike to get there and get his solo thing too, so they can go.
No, I don't think y'all want that because it be flying air bombs off the top of Jimmy Fox Snooker.
Right. No. What we're gonna do is we gonna get
Macho Man Ready Series flying air bombs.
We gonna get Pie May of the White Eyebrows clan behind you. But yeah, let's get back to it, man. Like I said, we got Isaac Crimes, we got Make You Fumble, we got Blitz 818. Andrew G, he said he got COVID, so no work. Hey man, like I said, take care of yourself and and get a speedy recovery.
Yes, sir.
He said he'll have to miss a stream this week. But yeah, like I said, we definitely appreciate it. But make sure you take care of your health first. We got J Dog. We got Dre 2 Statement. We got Michael Walker. We got Bobby Boy Zone 3. We got Jerry Bowie. And my last couple ones gonna be Pody TV, Bubba Gump, Floyd Donnelly, Atlanta Nation. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing popping, man. Hey, if I haven't got to your name, we see you in here. We shout you out a little bit later. Just keep leaving your comments in here for us. All right, fellas, man. What do we got for them tonight? What are we doing? What are we doing for the people?
I mean, I got two things that I want to start off with before we get to the key. I kind of said it already. Y'all know I've been trying. I've been on my Zen move lately, so I've been trying not to go crazy, but I'm trying. I mean, Marquise think I'm some type of demon seed. He always talking about I got bad energy and all that type of shit. So, I've been trying, but bro, I got called a stand, a Rich McKay stand. This man is how what? How he hired one of the greatest coaches of all time, and Tony Dungy, and one of the greatest defensive minds of all time, another one, and Lovie Smith. He's responsible for those guys. Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Warwick Dunn. Like, I can keep on going over and over and over and over again. Like, he's responsible for so many great players, including helping us get to another Super Bowl, bringing in one of the greatest defensive linemen in our franchise history in John Abraham, facilitating that trade. So how, like these people like really upset that I said Rich McKay is a very good football mind. It's like, my thing is why is that a problem? Do you guys see any issue with that? Like, respecting the fact that this guy is just a good football mind? It's like, why would he not? Like, why would I not want to talk about a guy that has a resume like that? Isn't that what's supposed to happen?
Yeah. Before I get to that, let me go ahead and hit up Miss Maggie T comment here. Y'all make sure y'all show her some love here in the chat. Where she said Falcons signed partner Thomas Morstead. We've been having a whole lot of bad luck with punters this year because we got punters hurt, COVID list, and now we done signed. This is almost kind of reminiscent of the Morton Anderson signing from back in the day. Don't it kind of give you that vibe just a tad little bit?
I mean, not really, because I don't know who the hell he is. I have no idea who the guy is, so I'm not going to.
Talking about Thomas Morstead, Mike?
Yeah. The Saints
he's
punter.
A long-time Saints punter, yeah. My thing is, I just don't know what's up with us signing all these old guys. Like, we ain't got no young legs out here. Like, why are we signing all these old guys?
The young legs can't stay healthy. That's the problem.
I'm just like, man, we got all these old. Colquitt, one of the oldest punters, and then now we get Morstead. I'm like, was this dude even playing still? I thought this guy was retired somewhere.
I mean,
he was with the Jets.
He's pretty old though.
Yeah. Morstead is up there too. I think he's like in his late 30s. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's college punters that come out every year. Like, and then I heard that we put Maggie on our practice squad. So I'm like, why don't you just sign him? Why are we signing?
They said they want. They said they want some coffin corner punters. That's what that is. That's really what it comes down to. If a lot of people don't know what coffin corner means, it's guys that like to punt it in the corners so you don't get no damn returns. And this is kind of what Morstead likes to do. He's kind of like one of those. And like I said, there's not really a lot of punters that do this like that anymore because everybody just trying to boom it downfield. You either got coffin corner punters or you got hang time punters. Just so guys don't get a chance to return them. We're going to find out.
That's true.
It is going to be weird.
As long as he don't go out there and pull nothing, and then we end up having to have Young Wei Koo punting. Like we did that one game where we didn't have no punter.
Right.
Young Wei Koo was out there doing both jobs. So.
Right. All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's far better punters, but they looking for experience right now, man, because that's basically what it comes down to, because Cam Neasy couldn't stay healthy. They had to cut him. Don Maggio lost his job at the beginning of the year. So, but I just wanted to get that out the way. But okay, so getting back to what Mike was saying, I let you go ahead and hit this about the Rich McKay stand comment. What do you feel about what Mike said on that? And is Rich McKay a good football mind?
Yeah, I seen a comment go past KStylzz. I don't know who put the comment in. They were saying that Rich McKay possibly being the next GM or commissioner or whatever the league. Yeah. So, I mean, I always believe in guys that's been around, that got experience, and that have proven themselves. And Rich McKay is one of those proven guys. Like the Buccaneers have 2 Super Bowls, and he was the architect of the first Super Bowl. Mike talked about it. The Warren Sapps, the John Lynches, all of those guys are the Derek Brooks of the world. Rondé Barber, people forget Warwick Dunn was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer before he was a Falcon. Mike Allstott, like he was responsible for building the architect of building that team, and he was kind of a trailblazer for bringing in a black head coach in Tony Dungy, giving him the opportunity, because we all know that team that won the Super Bowl, even though John Gruden eventually won that Super Bowl, that was Tony Dungy's team. We all know that he took Tony Dungy's team pretty much. It was kind of similar to what Steve Kerr did with the Warriors. Everybody know that Mark Jackson he laid the foundation for Steve Kerr to come in and basically, take over and win championships with the Warriors. They were already on their way. If Mark Jackson would have stayed there as a head coach, they would have eventually won championships. So it was a similar thing with Tony Dungy. But Rich McKay, I love Rich McKay. I don't see a reason, why we should be hating on him. Like Mike said, to be honest, in 2016, and we don't want to go back into the Super Bowl talk, but we should have a Super Bowl trophy. Let's just be real. So how I look at it is he's the right-hand man to Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank loves him. He's a businessman, and also he's a part of the rules committee. He's pretty much on all the committees in the higher-ups in the NFL. So that should just tell you something. If you're a part of all these rules committees, you close with the current commissioner. Like, this dude is that dude. He was there with the help when we built the new stadium. He's just been great. Like, this dude's been in the league. He has experience. So he's definitely not the problem. And I really don't feel like Rich McKay has a huge ego. Like, for him to bring in Terry Fontenot, that kind of shows that he doesn't have an ego, because he could have easily said when they got rid of TD and Dan Quinn that he was just going to take over. Like, look, I can do this myself. Yeah. Just let me be the GM. I'm not hiring nobody. I'm going to run the books. I'm going to do everything. Because if he was able to facilitate us building that new stadium, $1 billion stadium, he can do the books. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, Terry Fontenot is a first-time GM. So believe it or not, Rich McKay is kind of still overseeing everything that's going on in the front office. Even though Terry Fontenot is running things, Rich McKay, he kind of has to get the okay through Rich McKay. So Rich McKay is kind of working with him to get him to that level. Because as we always say, there's levels to this GM, being a GM. So Rich McKay, to me, is one of the best GMs of all time, and one of the best front office guys of all time. So I don't see the problem with why we should be attacking him. At the end of the day, these players, these coaches, we got to just be responsible for their own actions at the end of the day. Rich McKay has given, even when Dan Quinn was here, he gave him enough weapons. We know how potent our offense, we knew how potent our defense. Like signing guys like Dwight Freeney, bringing him in 2016 was huge. Mike talked about John Abraham, like guys that are unsung heroes, like Courtney Upshaw that was on that team. Guys like Brooks Reed that was on that team that were kind of like unsung heroes, guys who would bring off the bench that were veteran guys, but they were great pass rushers or great leaders in the locker room. Like Rich McKay understands how to build a winning franchise at the end of the day. Before he went to the Buccaneers, we know how bad the Buccaneers franchise was and organization was. And we know how bad the Falcons organization was. Let's be real. Prior to him coming here, we know how bad the organization has been. Like, I don't know if you guys got to check it out, but Mike was on Twitter, and we had opened up a space where they were just talking about, the hate that we get as Atlanta Falcons, the fans, how much hate we have for the team, and how much hate we just have for players, the GMs, all of the different, people in the organization. And pretty much, I agree with where Mike is coming from. At the end of the day, Rich McKay, to me, he should be untouchable at this point. And to be honest, with the comment that we've seen there, I don't think Rich McKay is going to be with the Falcons much longer. I could really see him being the next commissioner if he wants to. He really can have any position he wants because he has that type of experience. So let's get this man his flowers while he's here. Let's respect him while he's here, because at the end of the day, he showed that he could build a winning team. Like the 2016 and even 2017 Falcons. Like everybody talks about the 2016 Falcons. Let's not forget that 2017 team was just as good and could have easily went right back to the Super Bowl. Like we won the first game against the Rams in the wild card game, and then we played the Eagles, who eventually were the Super Bowl champs, to the wire in the divisional round. We were on the goal line, and the ball went through Julio's hands. We scored a touchdown there. Chances are we go back to the Super Bowl back to back, and chances are we win that Super Bowl. So let's just be real. Rich McKay is not the problem.
Yeah, at the end of the damn day, it's the coaches and the players that decide if the team wants to win or not.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So,
KStylzz, that was my long answer. I'm sorry.
No. You good? You good? Sometimes you got to keep it. You got to keep it simple. Sometimes.
Keep it 100.
That's how I say it, man. At the end of the day, it's like Rich McKay. You can say yes, he's the right hand man to Arthur Blank. And you may say he can put a bug in somebody's ear, but at the end of the day, it's the GM's job and the coach's job to put the team together.
I just thought about something. If he becomes the commissioner, you can only imagine how so many people will really hate the Falcons because he's a former team president, turned commissioner. Yo, y'all think they hate us now, boy? Woo-wee. Oh my goodness, that would be nasty. Like I said, they really don't give us a lot of credit, and then you have one of our guys, turn commissioner. Yeah, that'd be something else. But
like you son of a bitch, how dare y'all?
Right.
But yeah, but going from what Mike's comment from what he was saying about being called a Rich McKay stand, that's basically just cover up talk for saying, why do you still watch this team? Why do you still like this team? That's pretty much what they really saying. So it's just coming up with every new thing, like either you a Rich McKay stand, or you a Matt Ryan lover, or you a Julio hater, you a Mike Davis hater. Like, damn. Well, but you might well just say, shoot, I don't like what you saying because you like the damn Falcons. Just say that.
That's what it seems like.
It ain't what it seems like. That's what it is.
I was gonna get that much hate for. Like he's an executive. Like y'all hate executives.
That's like look.
That's a new one.
That's like that. Look, that's like saying you hate AFN. but we are no reporters to the damn team.
Like, shit, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Exactly. But get some of these comments. Hey, J Rock for Life is in the chat here. Like I said, y'all make sure y'all show him some love. We got Popcorn Movie Games. That's one of the homies right there. We probably gonna definitely get him back on the show here pretty soon. But now we can't talk about the draft right now, but we still got 7 games to go in this season before we get into the draft.
Yeah, we got a protocol over here. We only talk about the draft when that last game hit.
Exactly.
We send all the comments, all the questions.
Yeah,
that's what we doing all in during the off season.
And Ultra Shao 97 here says Thomas Jerkoff is the reason why we're in this situation. At the end of the day, that's what it.
Clear one thing up. Go ahead, my bad.
No, I was just gonna say at the end of the day, like I said, the GM is closest to the coach.
He's the closest to the coach. That's what it comes down to. But I just want to clear up one thing also. Yes, the general manager, they're calling the shots, the day-to-day shots as far as getting the signing potential free agents, restructuring contracts, as well as drafting, restructuring, and free agencies. Like, they are the guys that are going out and doing the day-to-day. But I say it time and time again, the general managers are not calling the shots. What he is a front man for what the team president, whomever the team president is, the guy who's really calling the shots. Okay, they are the football guys. That's why you go and San Francisco, for example. This is a perfect example. The reason why Kyle Shanahan isn't, and I'm just gonna be real, and I'm not no Kyle Shanahan. I'm not a stan. I'm not a fan of his, but the reason why they're struggling is because guess what? John Lynch is making all the calls. That he's the football guy. He's calling all the shots. They got a general manager, but at the end of the day, that team is going to always be a defensive team because of John Lynch. All right. And he's not getting what he wants. All right. You look at their last 3 drafts. I think they went defensive. I think they went like defensive line. I think they got McGlinchey. I think they had him in the first round. But outside of that, they went all defense. So that team is a defensive team. And that's one of the reasons why Kyle Shanahan is struggling, because he's not getting the tools that he wants. Yeah, he's a coach, but he's not calling anything. It's all up to the team president. So yes, those guys are doing a good job, but I want to clear it up because I think a lot of people got the misconception that the GM run things. The GM is just a figurehead for the team president. Those are the guys who really call the shots.
Okay. But let's go ahead and get to what the people want to talk about tonight. Like I said, that's what we usually call the early show babble. It went a little bit longer than we wanted to, but yeah, let's go ahead. But yeah, give y'all a little something, get a little taste of what else we talk about. But we call this a must-win game. Before the season started, this was my trap game in this schedule. Jaguars versus Falcons. What more can be said? You ain't got no damn choice. You got to win this game. And that's my synopsis for this thing. You got to win this game. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's simple.
Yeah. So like I said, everybody else might have had something to say, but I just summed up everybody's point here. Falcons ain't got no goddamn choice but to win this game. I ain't mean to cuss like that, but I'm just saying. So y'all want to go ahead and get to these 3 keys on what the Falcons need to do. This, we gonna go ahead. We're gonna let the minister bless us with his 3 keys for this game.
So I kind of been chilling this week. Last week I didn't do no videos. So I know everybody was like, "What's going on?" I just sat back. Watched watched the games on Sunday. Just sat back. I seen all the stuff on Twitter. As Mike say, I'll drop the eyes in the in the chat, in our group chat and stuff like that. But I just sat back and just watched because I like to stay even keel. That's why they called me before it was the minister. It was a calm before the storm because I'm the level-headed one. I'm like Matt Ryan. When you see Matt Ryan in his when he's do his press conferences, it's always never too high, never too low. Like he said, it's never as good as it you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is. So this Falcons team, KStylzz said it best. Just win, baby. Like, this is a game that you have to go out and win. I mean, you done got embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you got receivers running into each other. You done got your tail whipped at home. You didn't even score a touchdown, and that was the first time that happened. I think they said since the 1988 season when you got shut out at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have nothing to lose going in this game. Like KStylzz said, that this is kind of a trap game. I really don't feel like it's a trap game. I know he said early going into the season, he's seen it as a trap game, and I did as well. But now with the Falcons getting demolished the last 2 weeks, you go into this game almost on even playing field, on an even playing level, because nobody's looking at the Falcons as world beaters anymore. You come out of, beating New Orleans, and then you lose to the Cowboys, get blown out. Then you get blown out against the Patriots. If those were 2 wins, or maybe you win one of those games, maybe the ESPNs of the world and the Fox Sports ones of the world give you a little credit. But at this point, everybody pretty much has dug our grave for this season. That's the reason why Popcorn and Movies is already saying, like, let's just go ahead and talk about the draft, because pretty much everybody has thrown dirt on the Falcons at this point. So, I mean, my 3 keys. I'll give my 3 keys, but at the end of the day, it's going to be real simple. First key to victory is we can't have the penalties. We seen Matt Ryan on Thursday night chewing out everybody on the sideline, and then in the second half, he was just trying to kind of be that Joda energy for the team. Like, come on, he was slapping the offensive lineman, punching them in the chest, like, come on, let's go. Like, he was trying to basically get in their face and say, look, it's still a 13-0 game. We still can win this game. So in this game, we can't get behind the chains. That's really what's been killing us the last 2 games. On first down, we've been losing yardage when we try to run the ball. We've had too many negative plays, whether it's holding, whether it's false starts. We got to clean that up in this game. So that's my first key to victory is you have to limit the penalties. Like, we have to cut the penalties out. Some of the penalties in the last game were so-so, like the one on Fabian Monroe where they call pass interference. It was a lot of ticky-tack, fouls and stuff, but you know what you get when you play the Patriots. We know how to, you know what the Zebras are going to do when you play in the Patriots and you playing against Bill Belichick. So that's the first thing. Be disciplined. In this game, we can't have the false starts. Those are things that you can control. So in this game, clean up the penalties. We hadn't seen it since week 1, as far as all of those penalties we saw in this last game. So that's my first thing. The second key to victory in this game, and we've been saying it since last season. I've been saying it since last season, and it's run the football. You have to balance it out. We have to balance it out because the reason that the offensive line is struggling is because you're falling behind in these games, and now teams can tee off on Matt Ryan, and they can tee off on your offensive line, and basically you're backpedaling the rest of the game. So in this game, come off the ball, knock them off the ball, run the ball with some authority, take Mike Davis out of the game if he's going to be tiptoeing at the line, put in Quadra Olison because he showed you last week he going to one cut, and he gonna get you 2 or 3 yards. Go ahead, KStylzz.
So we can every time Mike Davis run the ball, what we're gonna be like, tiptoeing in my Jordans, and up, tiptoeing in my Jordans. I don't forgot who that rapper was. Go ahead, Drew. I didn't want to throw that out.
Now you good. I mean, I'm just tired of seeing it, man. Like, get the ball. Like we talked about Todd Gurley last year. I mean, we were better off keeping Todd Gurley if we knew we were gonna get this out of Mike Davis. Like, just hit the hole. Like, stop dancing. Stop dancing in the backfield. Stop slipping like you got grease on the bottom of your cleats. and just go straight. Like, get the ball and hit the hole. He's doing too much dancing. That's the reason he's losing yardage. Like, you too big of a running back. We call him a UPS truck or whatever KStylzz called him. But he's like, we thought Freeman danced in the backfield. This dude will not hit the hole to save his life. Like, dude, you big. Ito Smith was smaller than you, and he would hit the hole. Like, just hit the hole. Like, you're going to get a yard if you would just hit the hole. He getting 2 and 3 yards because he's dancing behind the line. Stop looking for the hole. Just run where the hole supposed to be. Just fall forward. We seen in this last game, Quadre ran the ball well because he just one cut and he was north and south, and he would get yardage. That's what we need in this game. And for Arthur Smith and that coaching staff, I know you guys paid Mike Davis to be the bell cow, to be that guy, but he's not stepping up. So it's time for us to see what we got. We got a Caleb Huntley. He's another guy that'll go north and south. So if Mike Davis is not going to do what we asking him to do in this power running system, take him out of the game. But you got to get back to balancing it out. So that's my second key to victory. Third key to victory in this game is the defense. Turnovers. Whoever win the turnover battle and win the field position battle, because the Patriots kicked our tail in all 3 phases, but the biggest phase they kicked our tail in was special teams. And that's something that KStylzz is really big on, is the special teams. If you notice in that game, they pinned us within our 5-yard line a couple times. Like, we would just pin deep, like, well, we really couldn't do anything, like field position wise. The only time we got good field position was when AJ Terrell got that interception. So in this game, we're going to need somebody to be that spark plug. I'm hoping that Jalen Hawkins can come back, because it seems like he was that good luck charm on the defense. Other than AJ Terrell, you know, quarterbacks were not afraid to throw at Hawkins, and he was coming down with interceptions, and then God forbid he went down with an injury. And ever since then, it seemed like we kind of been snake bitten. So I really want to see if Hawkins comes back in this game. He's been a guy who gets turnovers, but we're gonna need guys to step up in this game. It's no excuse. You're playing against a rookie quarterback in Sunshine. You know, Lawrence is gonna throw that ball. He's not afraid to throw the ball in traffic. So you're gonna have numerous chances of getting interceptions in this game. I believe Trevor Lawrence has thrown 9 interceptions so far this season. So he's going to put the ball in harm's way because he's a gunslinger. So in this game, this is going to be your chance. The Eric Harris's that's dropped a couple picks this season, the Fabian Monroe, because he's been the guy that's being targeted a lot. This is going to be his game where he has a chance to come down with an interception. I don't know if he'll try AJ Terrell. If he does, AJ Terrell may come down with his second interception of the season. But to be honest, I think in this game that the defense comes away with a defensive touchdown. That's going to be like my surprise of the game, or the X factor. I thought last week that AJ Terrell was about to take that thing to the house, but I think in this game, one of these guys are going to take it to the house, either on the strip sack fumble where they're going to scoop and score, or it's going to be an interception return for a touchdown in this game. But those are my 3 keys. The defense, they've been playing solid already, but if you can win the turnover battle, put Matt Ryan on the short field so we can try to double up on the points in the red zone, because Matt Ryan and this offense, yeah, they've been struggling, but they have had terrible field position. Like, our special teams hasn't helped, and our defense, for the most part, haven't really got many turnovers. So teams have been punting that ball within our 20-yard line pretty much the whole season. So we have to do something on the defensive side or in the special teams as far as a return to help this offense out. And those would be my 3 keys.
I think I'll go next on this one. And when I was talking about tiptoeing in my Jordans, I think I might have found a new song for Mike Davis. I don't know if anybody listened to George Michael, but I think Mike Davis be listening to "Wake Me Up Before You Go" before every game, because that's why his ass be dancing in the backfield. So but a little dry humor. But first key I had to say, man, is whatever the hell mentality y'all had the last 2 games, y'all need to chuck that shit to the side and get serious. At the end of the day, this like I said, these last 2 games that we've seen, and it kind of goes into what you was talking about as far as the penalties. It's all mental. Who is going to bring these guys out of this mental state and go ahead and start playing for real? We will, like I said, we cannot afford to have another game where we are getting penalized and not taking advantage of opportunities, because it's not in the case to where, okay, y'all didn't have chances here, you just didn't take them. That's my first key. The second key I got to do is, it looks like Cordero Patterson might be back for this game. Take the ball out of Mike Davis's hand right now, because he's shown absolutely nothing with it. Like I said, I've hyped him up too this season. I was expecting a lot more, but it's good. It might get to a point where you're going to have to start taking away some of his carries, because he is not really producing. Like I said, even if it's like a two-headed backfield or something like that, he's not really producing as far as setting a tone. Like Cordero Patterson is setting a tone. Like I said, it's not in the physicality, but it's more so of setting a tone for big plays. That's what Mike Davis was brought here for. He was supposed to be the tone setter for physicality. And this is why you haven't really seen that physicality on the offensive side of the ball, because the guy that was brought here to be physical isn't physical right now. So I would take, that'd be my second key. Get the other running backs involved a little bit more and use them as tone setters. Like you said, you saw Quadri Olsen run well against New England. Even though looking at the depth chart, he's not even the third running back on the depth chart right now, which is a damn shame. But, and my third key is I'm going to have to go with is, bruh, defense, you just better make sure you tackle. You got to make sure you tackle. You got to make sure you get off the field on third down, because right now we're going to need this defense to. Wait a minute.
That's weird. That ain't never happened.
That ain't never happened. Wait a minute. Oh, what did they do to the minister? But going to the third key, like I said, defense is going to have to be the tone setters for this team right now, as far as when you get an opportunity to get those interceptions and them turnovers, you have to capitalize on them. Eric Harris. Tyler Davison. Hold on. Deron Harmon. Y'all the veteran. Y'all supposed to be the veterans as well as Debo and Foyer. They're doing what they can, but we need guys to step up and make plays. Give the offense the confidence by making those plays on defense. That's all I gotta say. Mike, what you got for him?
Well, I'm gonna keep the same energy I have had all week. And I'm just gonna say this. We gotta chill on this offensive line. Gotta relax, man. These guys are still young. With the exception of Josh Andrews and Jake Matthews, this team is filled with the young guys. This is why Matt Gano was so key to this offensive line, because he's another veteran guy to teach these guys. He's another ear. Because a lot of these guys have never seen most of the defenders out here. Most of these guys have never seen these types of schemes in the NFL. This is not college. I need y'all to get that through y'all head, fans. This is not college. We don't see guys lined up in the same exact spot every week, week in and week out. You wonder why Georgia why they so dominant on the defensive side of the ball? Because you never know where them son of guns going to be coming from. You have no idea what Jordan Davis is going to be. Georgia does this thing where they'll shift out of the blue. Just you don't know when they're going to shift. You don't know if they're coming with the blitz. You have no idea. That's why Georgia is so great defensively, because you have no idea at any given time. It gives colleges, especially the small colleges, they're not ready for that type. And it's the same thing for young linemen and young players, not just young linemen, but a lot of these guys, a lot of these linemen have never, ever went up against an Ndamukong Suh. So when you got an Ndamukong Suh and you see what Fletcher Cox did with Jalen Mayfield, his first game, man, he baptized that dude. And then he saw, you know what I'm saying? He saw another. He got to see what greatness was in the NFL, what elite talent is, and then from that point he can, he can change. He can kind of get the experience of what it is. So a lot of these players have never, ever played against these talents. So this is why around second year, the third year, fourth year, you start to see the linemen start to get it. A la Jake Matthews, guys like the left guard, Andy Levitre. All these guys start to get it because they've seen more of these types of defenses. Like defenses like Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith will kill rookie offensive linemen because that dude will send everybody and their mama. Everybody gonna blitz in it. So we got to give these guys a break. This is why this offensive line is up and down. These guys are young. They have not seen a lot of guys. So one, we just got to give these guys, time, and we kind of help them out by running the ball. It's simple as that. We gotta run the ball, even if it's not working. You gotta run the ball. Give these guys opportunity to finally get it. This is why he's experimenting with Quadri Olison, Wayne Gallman, because somebody is going to catch it. Somebody gonna catch fire, and that's the reason why you can't just abandon the run because it doesn't work. Got to keep going. Second one, I think is pretty simple. I know KStylzz said, tackling. I don't see any issue with wrong with the tackling. The reason why I say that is because this defense, the way that it's designed, is designed for chaos. So you're going to have guys that's out of position. They're going to be out of position. They're young in a new scheme. And Debo, he's already a small guy. Foye, these guys are fast. And when you going that fast and you're going up against, some of these running backs, these guys, they what, 5'8", 220, 230, 240. These are not small guys. So my thing is, it's not that they have to wrap up. The Falcons got to do a better job of gang tackling. I'm not saying the gang tackling. That's what made great defenses great. Yeah, you might get past one guy, but guess what? Ray Lewis gonna be there. Ed Hartwell gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Like Falcons got to do a better job of gang tackling. They're too slow, and guys aren't doing their job. And that's the third one. All right, do your damn job. That's it. The reason why these guys, and I've heard Arthur say this, I've heard Dean P say this. It's not that they don't get it. It's not that they're stupid. They never said that these guys just aren't getting the offense. They're not getting it. These guys are just doing too freaking much. I've heard these guys say it multiple times. They're just doing too much. And maybe I'm putting too much on his plate. Dean P says, so he scaled back, and that's not working. So it's not that they're not getting it. It's that these guys are just doing to everybody trying to make that big play. Everybody trying to get that home run, hit that home run. Everybody's trying to do that. Just do your freaking job. And that's the three keys right there.
Hey, I forgot to say one thing too, and all the keys come down to this one. Come down to this one umbrella. Let me go ahead and put the umbrella up. If people don't know,
Pretty much.
It's got to be done for 60 minutes. That you can't get away from that. Yeah, because I'm looking at these statistical categories as far as the way that the ball has been contributed in the running game with Mike Davis. Dude has 290 rushing yards for 1 touchdown.
Who?
Mike Davis.
Who?
Mike Davis. Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson is the leading rusher on our team right now.
And 10 games, 11 games, this dude got 200. What the?
Think about that. Cordell Patterson is the leading rusher on the team and the second best receiver on the team. That looks pretty bad, don't it?
So you see why I'm saying that the offensive line is okay. They will be fine, but it's our skill players that's not making plays.
Okay.
Way too much pressure on this offensive line, and they're young. This is why guys like Mike Davis need to step up. This is the reason why I'm so angry with guys like Calvin Ridley. Is because this offensive line is already young, and then you putting even more pressure on these guys by not performing. Y'all gotta perform, bro. Everybody saying they can't pass by, but we've shown that they can. But when you got guys that aren't consistently doing their job, guess what? It makes it more difficult. Now you got to put a guy in Caleb McGarry who isn't a guy that necessarily is great in pass protection. He's okay, but you putting him in pass protection even more because Mike Davis cannot get more than 1 freaking yard in a game. This man it's been at least 3 to 4 games this year where I've seen with my own 2 eyes 14 carries for 13 yards. At the very least 3 games. I'll say at the very least 2 games. I've seen that from him. And we're talking about Caleb McGarry. We're talking about Chris Nitstrom and Mike and Hennessy. This is why they suck. You put too much pressure on these guys. How the hell can you be a good offensive lineman and you constantly going backwards? We had the same thing we said last year. This is the reason why he doesn't want to. This is the reason why Arthur doesn't want to continuously put the ball into Matt Ryan's hand. Why? Because his offensive line is not ready for that. These guys are still young. All right.
There's a comment here I wanted to hit up. Corey Shaw here said Mayfield had 37 reps on the bench. He should be pushing people around. Weight strength, playing strength. 2 totally different things. You can push weight. You can push weight all you can, but when you on that field, it's all about your technique.
Technique, bro.
And if your technique is off, you could be the strongest guy out there. It won't mean a damn thing. Anybody remember Tony what was it? Was it Tony Mandarich?
Mm-hmm. Tony Mandarich, yep. The left tackle.
The left tackle that they talked about the Incredible Hulk and all this stuff like that. And this guy was the perfect example. He did everything you wanted in the combine as far as bench pressing. He was an all-world tackle. But when he got to the NFL, he didn't last long. Your technique got to be on point. You got to know how to use those legs. You got to know how to balance yourself. That's what made guys like Larry Allen great. Walter Jones. Jonathan Ogden, Jason Peters in his prime,
Mike Ken, he had elite. Him and Anthony Munoz, those guys had elite foot quickness.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Munoz, Bob Whitfield. Hell, I could throw Keenan Forney in there. But like I said, all these offensive linemen, like you said, when you're pushing, that's called drive. You driving. You got to drive the defender. Some guys can be strong as hell in that weight room. I've seen it. I've seen guys who can bench press like a motherfucker, but when you put them on the field, shit, they get pushed around by guys that are weaker than them. Because at the end of the day, football is all about technique.
Technique, bro.
But yeah, like I said, that's just one of those aspects like a lot of people don't really think about as far as when they come into. And this is why I say the combines and stuff like that is really, really overrated, because we start looking at stuff like 40 times and thinking, okay, he fast, he should be a great receiver. No. There's been great receivers that ran terrible 40s.
Exactly. Football speed is a lot different, like he was talking about, KStylzz.
Football.
Like, you seen guys like even Jerry Rice, he didn't run a great 40, but you never seen him get caught from behind. When he catch a post or he catch, you ain't catching him. Like, it's one thing to have that football speed and that 40 time. You know, you can train for a 40, you know, to run with the right form and stuff like that. But once you put those pads on, technique, all of that come into play, man. When those bright lights come on, like I said, I'd rather somebody have football speed and have, you know, that straight line, you know, like that track speed. It's a lot of guys that have track speed, but can you catch? Can you do the, you know, the Darius Hayward-Bay was one of those guys coming out. Everybody talked about.
Oh my goodness!
With the Raiders, he had speed, but he couldn't catch, and he didn't have any technique. So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? If you can get behind the defense, if you can't catch,
touchdown, boy. Exactly. He be wide open. He was dropping 80-yard touchdown, boy.
Yeah, man. So, like I said, I'd rather take that guy that's not as fast, like on a 40 time. But like you said, if they got the technique and they can catch, because I've seen guys that were slow, but they just had technique. Like the Wayne Corbett's, people forget about him with the New York Jets. He was one of those guys in the slot where he wasn't fast, but he had good hands. So, and he knew how to run routes. He understood leverage.
Ed McCaffrey was so damn slow. He was so slow, but he would eat you alive in that slot, boy, as a receiver, anywhere.
Exactly. So really, at the end of the day, what you see, what you put on that tape is really what matters more than anything. Like those statistical things, like 40 times and reps. Really, the cone drill is really more important than the 40 time. To be honest with you. How quick are you? Boom. That's the cone drill. But if you're running a 40 ain't.
What's the change of direction, like you were talking about in a cone drill? You know, you got to change direction, and that's what you really have to do, especially as like a pass rusher. When you look at these pass rushers, you can have that straight line, you know, line speed, but can you dip your shoulder? Can you do those things? Because when you're trying to chase a quarterback, especially now in the NFL with these mobile quarterbacks, you have to be able to understand leverage. And you have to be able to understand how to move. You know, having that straight line drive speed ain't gonna help you when you chasing Lamar Jackson that's dipping and dodging and running all over the place. Like you might can catch him in a foot race straight, but when he's juking, like we seen Matt Ryan juke the Saints linebacker coming head on, because it's like it's one thing to be just running straight, and it's a whole nother thing with somebody coming at you and they got a little bit of wiggle. Because we know that Matt Ryan is not the most fleet of foot, but he's been making a lot of guys look bad.
Right. But yeah, like I said, so at the end of the day, man, you gotta know how to play this game. If you don't know how to play the game, all that other shit don't matter.
Let me read y'all some stats real quick. This man, Ed McCaffrey, went a 4.69, and this dude had over 500 receptions in his career. Just think about that for a second. He was not a tight end. He was not tight end. He was a wide receiver.
Shit, Anquan Bolden ran a 4.9, 4.8,
right,
4.9.
And he got well over 800 receptions in his career. So look, bro, like all these 40 times and all that type of stuff. This is why I despise. I don't waste my time watching the combine. I don't care nothing about that, because all it is a show for you guys to get boosted up in the draft. That's pretty much what that is. But like I said, we got to get these offensive linemen a break. Am I saying it was a absolute? Was it not embarrassing? Of course it was. But like we said before, we seen them going up against one of the best defensive linemen in the game in the New Orleans Saints. They have one of the best defenses in especially front seven. Those guys have an elite front seven, and they did well. So it's not a matter of talent. It's just about like confidence. Dean P said this before. He said this before. You got to make sure that these guys are confident. So you can scheme them half to death, but if you put a guy in the game when he's not ready, you can kill his entire career. And that's not what they try to do. So this is why you see guys like Frank Darby. You see guys like Quadri Olison not getting the time that they want, that we want at the present time, is because these guys just not ready. And like you said, you don't want to be responsible. These guys don't want to be held responsible for killing someone's career because they put in a guy when he wasn't ready to play.
Right. Let's see. I'm just looking through some comments, see something that see something we can kind of get all kind of get our talking points on, because I know oh yeah I know what I'll talk about. There's a lot of these people that are already talking about tanking for draft picks and stuff like that. How do you feel about hearing that? Because like I said, as bad as the Falcons have played the last two games, we are literally a game away from the last spot in the playoffs. There's only one. They said there's really only maybe two teams that are literally have no chance of even being close to that last playoff spot in their conference. And the Falcons are not one of those teams.
Right.
So
that's why I say I sat back, KStylzz. Like when it comes to the playoffs, I think that the Falcons have a chance. They control their own destiny because we have the Bucs again on our schedule. We have the Saints again on our schedule. We have Carolina. All of those teams, because I believe the Saints right now are in that 7th spot, if I'm not mistaken.
7th spot. Yep.
So we play them again. So we beat them again. Say we have the same record. We have the tiebreaker over them. So we control our own destiny. But what I think we need to stop doing, and even me, is when it comes to the playoffs, yeah, I'm watching the playoff race, but we need to take it one game at a time. Because if you look at the league, it's a week-to-week league. It's a reason why Arthur Smith is saying don't get tied up in the day-to-day narratives, week-to-week narratives. Like the Falcons win, we beat the Saints, and it's like we were all on a high. The Falcons have a chance to make the playoffs. Then we lose 2 in a row, and it's like throw dirt on them. The Falcons are done. Like their season's over. It's a week-to-week league. Because if you look across the board, I mean, every week, like I said, I waited after we got blown out in that Thursday night massacre. I just sat back. I said, okay, I want to watch and see these other games on Sunday and what's going to happen on Sunday. And you've seen the Washington football team has made upsets. They beat the Panthers on Sunday. They beat the Bucs 2 weeks ago. So it is to go to show you the Buffalo Bills lost to the Jaguars. I think so. It's just it's up and down. Like if you look across the league, especially so far in the NFC, even in the AFC though, week to week you never know. The Texans beat the Titans on Sunday, who was in the 1 seed. So you don't know from week to week, who's going to win these games. You don't know who's going to be in the playoffs. Right now, it's like 6 teams all fighting for those last 2 playoff spots in the NFC. If you look, everybody's neck and neck. Like either you got 4 or 5 wins. Every team, you got the Vikings that got like 5 wins. You got the Saints. You got the Panthers. All of those teams are right there. You got the Falcons. So we don't know. So that's why we just need to wait and see. We always say wait and see on here. Just wait and see, because we don't really know. This Falcons team, we get a couple players back, like the CPs. We don't know if Calvin Ridley is going to come back. I don't know how bad of an injury Hayden Hurst had. I heard it was an ankle. But if we get healthy, get some guys back, that's really what it comes down to. Because if you guys look, I do watch the landscape of the NFL. The Saints are really struggling right now, like with injuries. We think we got it bad. Michael Thomas is out the rest of the season. Alvin Kamara is out. Their right and their left tackle is out. So it's like they could easily, and then I went and looked at their schedule, they could easily lose the next 3 or 4 games. And by the time they get to us at the last game of the season, they could be already like resting guys, or like tanking basically, because they've lost like a lot of guys, a lot of starters. So like I said, just let it play out. We don't know from week to week. We just need to beat the Jaguars. And that's what Arthur Smith was saying. We just need to handle our business and stop worrying about what other teams are doing. If we handle our business, the playoffs will take care of itself at the end of the day. So at this point, I say that the Falcons, of course, have a chance until you mathematically eliminate it. All of these teams have a puncher's chance. But like I said, you never know from week to week, because you can go into this game against Jacksonville and God forbid somebody else could get injured. And some of these teams that's on the top of the division could have a key injury. Like we're looking at Arizona, they're dominating, but Kyler Murray is out right now. They're playing with Colt McCoy. So chances are a lot of these teams can take a back seat. We've seen Dallas lose on Sunday. Yeah, they're playing with Colt McCoy right now. So it's a lot of teams that are battling with injuries. And then we're seeing teams kind of come down to earth. Like you've seen the Cowboys. They blew us out, but then they came back to earth and didn't score a touchdown against Kansas City, which we know have been struggling. So, like I said, and everybody's pretty much stated that Dallas is a Super Bowl contender, which I think they are, but from week to week, you don't know. And that's why you just got to let it play out. Like, you don't know. The Falcons was riding high, and it's an up and down league. From week to week, the narrative changes. So we just got to let it play out. I think the Falcons still have a chance, and I would never tank. I would never say tank, because you build a losing mentality. When you start tanking and resting players and, doing all of that type of stuff, you basically create a losing culture when you start doing that. So until you mathematically eliminate it, keep fighting. That's how I look at it.
Man, I'm not. Don't even try to come at me with no damn tanking, bro. Like, you can get out my face with that mess. You can get out my team with that mess. Look, it's all go 100 or I don't give a fuck if we have everybody on the damn, injury list, and we playing with a bunch of guys that are on the practice squad. I'm not tanking on purpose. That's not what winners do. Period.
Right. And by looking at the NFL standings right now in the NFC, let me see. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the NFC that have won more than 5 games. You have 1, 2. Let me see. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. You got about 7 or 8 teams that are still in contention for them last 2 playoff spots. And the Falcons is one of them, because the NFC is just that bad this year. Hell, actually, if you look at the whole NFL has been terrible this year. If you look at the AFC side look worse.
I mean, I just think that's parody, to be honest. I think people just put too much into records. When you see a lot of teams were pretty much hanging around 500, I just think that's parody.
Right.
Because it's only a couple of teams that's like 0-8, and 1-8 and things like that. Like there's only a few. So at the end of the day, I just think it's parody. But my thing, man, like don't get any team, and I think this is one of the reasons why the Jets have had such bad luck, is they get into this mode is I'm just gonna tank. I need a quarterback, so I'm gonna tank. So they create that loser mentality. We need to know another Joe Namath. We need it no. Build a team, do what you have to do to compete, and then you'll get out of the basement. But you'll never get out of the basement with that mentality. I'm tanked because I don't have a quarterback.
And the thing about it is, if I'm going to build a team, I'm going to build a team the right way. Because you don't want to draft a quarterback. And this is the one thing I say, and we've been harping about it even before the draft, this past draft. I don't want to bring a young quarterback into a situation to where literally, if he got in the game, he's gonna get murdered out here. Or be put in a situation to where it's just not gonna look good for him. I mean, because like I said, by looking at some of these news, and this is not Falcon related, and I know my homeboy probably won't appreciate me talking about his team because I don't normally do it, but they already talk about the Giants need to get rid of Daniel Jones. Do you see the team they built for him? No offensive line, no consistent weapons, defense okay. I mean, even though he does turn the ball over a lot, he turns the ball over.
Man, can you name a receiver he got? I'm sure they okay. Besides Kenny Galloway, that's it.
Yeah, they just got a bunch of. They just tried to bring in a bunch of weapons, but like you said, they didn't build their team the right way. That's the problem. They just didn't build their team the right way. Right. It was a lot of tanking and stuff like that, and losing, and then trying to pay big name free agents. Falcons Nation, like we always talk about, let's go out and get this guy and get that guy in free agency, but KStylzz always talks about it. If they don't fit your scheme, like they went out and got a Nate Solder from the New England Patriots and thought, okay, he can be our left tackle. Well, he ended up, not being the guy to fix their offensive line, so they had to move him to right tackle, and he still sucked. So it's like, it's one thing to play for the Patriots and that organization under those coaches in a certain system, but to be put on another team where you don't fit that scheme, you know what I'm saying? And that they paid a lot of big name free agents. Like you said, Kenny Galladay, they drafted the kid, Kadarius Toney from Florida at wide receiver. They've had weapons. It's just inconsistency. And I really think it's coaching. With them, it's really coaching. I don't like their coach. And they're forever firing the coaches as well. They don't give their chance. Like, didn't they just fire Jason Garrett, their offensive coordinator, today?
Who the hell signed the damn special teamers to be your damn? What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah,
and y'all wondering why the offense suck.
I mean, like I said, the coaches is one thing, but like I said, you got to think the Giants had the worst offensive line in the NFL for the last 3 or 4 seasons and didn't address none of that.
Yeah,
you literally built your entire offense on a running back that can't stay healthy right now.
Yeah. Well, the reason I say coaching KStylzz is because when they had Tom Coughlin there, as much as people don't like Tom Coughlin because he's kind of an old school type of head coach, that's when they were actually winning Super Bowls and when they were actually doing something.
Investing in the trenches. If you don't invest in the trenches, I don't know how many times we've said that before, but if you don't invest in the trenches, you don't build outwards. All right, you gotta start from within and go out. Like, that's how you get, and that's the problem. The Falcons built the defensive wrong. They spent money on the secondary once they had Vic Beasley, and they just stopped. Once they had Vic Beasley, he had his a pretty good first 2 years, but they just stopped, and that's the problem. You don't once you get a guy, you don't stop building, you continue to build. And what the Falcons did again, we saw it. We got Dan, we got Keanu, and we just and Robert off like a lot of those guys. It's just like are they okay? They're okay, but at the end of the day, you got to continue to build in the trenches. If you don't build an offensive line, build a defensive line, and you got to have a solid running game, a solid running back to go with it. Not going to be successful. You're not going to make those big time. You're not going to make those big time run playoffs. Got to be able to run the ball and stop the run at the end of the day.
And think about it like this. Look how Cleveland built their team. Look at their team.
Oh, they screwed it up. They screwed it up for the first after they got Baker Mayfield. They got Baker Mayfield. They got all those wide receivers. Like, damn, this shit ain't working. And then they was like, okay, we need to go back to the basics. And what did they do, KStylzz?
They built the offensive line. They got them a run. They got them a couple running backs. They built the defense. And now we talking about the Cleveland Browns every year as a playoff team every year because they got the offensive line and they're keeping the offensive line. Nick Chubb looks like the steal of the draft that he got drafted in.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the defense, you literally got playmakers at every level. This is what we talking about, building a team. And a lot of the people that were saying about the Falcons and why they didn't draft a quarterback and why they're mad about it is that because they're saying if Matt Ryan got hurt, who would you put in there? Do you see how this team is? Do you want your rookie quarterback to get murdered out here behind this team?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And do you really want to mess up his confidence? And that's what we talked about. Like, I don't know if you guys really paid attention to it because I know Shannon Sharp said he watched the game with the sound, the sound off. Mm-hmm. But I leave the sound up because I want to hear what them guys are saying. And Troy Aikman was, singing Matt Ryan's praises the whole game. He's like, man, Matt Ryan's taking a beating. He talked about how high of a QB rating that Matt Ryan had during the Super Bowl. He basically said it, them losing in the Super Bowl had nothing to do with Matt Ryan. He also talked about during the game, he's like, Matt Ryan is taking a beating tonight, but he's keeping his eyes down the field. I mean, he's doing everything he can to win this game, but the line is just not holding up, at the end of the day. So Matt Ryan is one of those guys, his confidence is not going to be shaken because he's been an MVP of the league. He's been to the Super Bowl. He knows he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the game. But if you bring in a guy, a rookie, Justin Fields, whoever you want to name, even Mac Jones, we seen on that Thursday night game, Mac Jones is even at this point still, to me, a one-read quarterback. Like if you seen on Dean Pease, when he brought those blitzes, he was destroying Mac Jones. When he figured out that Mac Jones was really just looking at his first read, and he started sending Eric Harris, he started sending Darren Hall on those cat blitzes, it was nothing that Mac Jones could do. It's a reason why, if you go look at Mac Jones' stats in that game, he was not throwing the ball more than 15 yards down the field. Everything was running the ball. Everything was don't turn the ball over. When he tried to take a shot down the field, what happened? Interception, AJ Terrell. So that pretty much goes to show you right there. Like these rookie quarterbacks, you have to build everything around them. And New England's the perfect team, KStylzz, of what you're talking about. They built a solid defense. They got a great running game, and they got a good offensive line. So Mac Jones, they were able to drop him right into that situation, and they let go of Cam Newton. They weren't worried about it because they know we've built a Super Bowl ready defense. We have, enough weapons as far as offensive line because we know they definitely start on their offensive line. Because if you look at the weapons they got on the outside, they're not great. We all know that Aguilar. We all know that the weapons that they got are not great wide receivers, but if you build a physical team and you build in the trenches where you can protect your quarterback, you don't have to have great wide receivers to win a Super Bowl. New England's proven that year in and year out. They've never had great wide receivers.
Baltimore has been doing it with two tight ends, Hayden Hurst and Andrews. They've been doing it for quite some time. So there's a recipe for success.
So yeah, like you say, even when we talk about Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, like you said, the team is built on one thing. It's built in the trenches.
That's it.
Like I said, you don't always have to have a great outside threat. You just have to have a capable outside threat.
And
I mean, it never hurts to have one, though. It never hurts. But at the end of the day,
had the same recipe, even going back to 2000. They didn't have an all-world wide out. They had Shannon Sharp leading it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they had Jamal Lewis running the ball. The offense was averaging 8 points a game, and the defense was averaging fucking 10 points a game.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've seen it year in and year out. Like when the playoffs roll around, we know what travels: a running game and a solid defense. If you can stop the run, if you physical and you can run the ball when it gets cold outside, when you have to go up to Lambeau, when you have to go to these, these places, we know what travels. A running game and a good defense travels. We've seen those teams that had those, like you said, those air raid offenses and throw the ball all over the field. But if you go even look at Lamar Jackson's record, his record is crazy with Baltimore. He has one of the best records, and it's because, like you said, it's how they built their team. That running the football and playing great defense, that wins in football, because it's about moving another man against his will. It's not always pretty, but it gets the job done.
And like I said, just think about how the San Antonio Spurs were in basketball. They was called the boring franchise, but they was winning championships. They had just as many championships in that span of time. Actually, I think they had the most at that time when they won those 5 championships within that span from 97 to 2014. However the hell they did. It ain't always about pleasing the casual person that wants to see the highlight plays and just the pretty football. That was like we said, like we just said, boring football can win you championships. I think boring football wins more championships than pretty football.
It does, because the Patriots are boring. The Patriots been boring for years, but they've been winning.
because let me use an example. And like I said, I'm gonna use these teams, even though these quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl. Why they only won 1 Super Bowl? Look at Aaron Rodgers. If you look at that Super Bowl team, he played great that game, but it was led by the defense getting turnovers that year, and it was led by the running game, at least getting some pressure off of them.
They were the 2016 Falcons. That's why I compare everybody to.
Basically,
if you got a high-powered offense and you can score, and your defense can get timely turnovers, you can win. But it's hard to sustain winning that way. It's a lot easier to sustain and winning when you can run the ball and when you can play defense.
Right.
It's hard to sustain a high-powered offense, like being able to throw the ball, and we've seen that when you compare the Peyton Mannings of the world to the Tom Brady's of the world. To me, I put Peyton Manning up there, with the GOATs as quarterback, but you just got to look at the teams, the style that they played. The Patriots was a team that had that running game, that had those Hall of Famers on the defensive side of the ball, multiple Hall of Famers. So it's like Peyton Manning was that flashy, the Colts were a more flashy team, but when it came and it got cold outside, that defense travels, man. That running game travels, and New England always had it, and great coaching, that travels. So, I mean, we've seen it, because we know Peyton Manning, compared to Tom Brady, I would take Peyton Manning any day to run my team or be, the face of my franchise. But we see what wins. Having a high-powered, offense over a great defense and a great running game. The great defense and running game kind of won out when it came to, that dynasty that the Patriots was able to build.
That's why Peyton Manning had one of the worst playoff records of any quarterback in NFL history for a while, because he could win in the regular season, but when it came to that postseason, he couldn't. The one team that he could never get by, and that was New England. And most of the time when they played New England, it was the first playoff game.
And usually it was in Foxborough, where it's 20 degrees and snowing.
Right, exactly. And I see a lot of people kind of bringing up the air raid offense and the Cardinals, but you need a good coach that understands the offense. Problem with the air raid, the air raid's issue is not in the regular season; it's in the playoffs. That's where you see really where the air raid offenses start struggling, because if you even look at Kansas City's offense, their offense is not really playing that well this year, up to the standards that everybody had for them. Because if you look at what the Falcons did last year and what Tampa Bay did to them last year, They took away the deep ball. They took away that possibility of the deep ball, and they're forcing Patrick Mahomes to use all the first 2 levels of the field, and he wants that big play.
It's another thing I wanted to point out too. What you were saying about Arizona, KStylzz, about the air raid offense as well, is you basically open your quarterback up to more injuries. Like we see Kyler Murray injured right now. It's because you all of those dropbacks, your quarterback getting hit. Kyler Murray is not the biggest guy. You know what I'm saying? So you open your quarterback up. Even when Peyton Manning was playing, Tom Brady never took as many hits. It's a reason why Peyton Manning had that neck injury. You know what I'm saying? You open yourself up. The more you pass the ball, the more susceptible your quarterback is to getting injured. I don't care if he's a mobile quarterback. I don't care if he's a quarterback in the pocket. And we should know that from last year watching Matt Ryan get ragdolled the whole season. Like pretty much with him dropping him back 40, 50 times a game, you just allowing teams to tee off on your quarterback. Even if you are being successful, because Peyton Manning, like you said, he was winning a lot of games in the regular season, but he was opened up to a lot more hits as well. Where in Tom Brady's case, you handing that football off, you putting all of that mileage on your running backs. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's another thing that we gotta take into account as well, is when you don't have that running game, that protects your quarterback. Like a lot of people talk about the offensive line, having a great running game also protects your quarterback, because if he just handing the ball off, he ain't getting touched. And Tom Brady has been blessed not only to have a great defense his whole career pretty much, but to always have great running games. The Corey Dillons, the Kevin Falks, all of those guys, the Antoine Smiths, all of those guys he played with in New England. And we know that New England stays with a stable of running backs, 3 and 4 running backs. So that's another thing that we kind of overlook, is having those running backs will also protect your quarterback and take some of those hits year in and year out. It's a reason why Tom Brady's 40-something still playing in the league and Peyton Manning is out of the league. All of those dropbacks, it adds up. Those hits add up.
Right. And what you guys say on that, Mike?
I think he might be froze.
Nah. He's good.
Hold on. I'm trying to get some information on something, because if this is what I think it is, I'm gonna be real pissed off. Because I'm gonna just say this. If anybody got a problem with Caleb McGarry, like, y'all gotta stop. Because like, if I'm saying what I'm saying, I don't, like I said, I gotta get confirmation on why I'm getting this article, this quote. But if anybody can get it to me, I want to call for somebody's job, said Davis. I've never said that before. We all know who Caleb McGarry is. As far as on the field, we know exactly what he's on the field. That was something I saw going back watching the game, and it kind of really bothered me. Like, I almost got to the point where I wanted to fight. It was the end of the second quarter, and Matthew Judon sacked Matt Ryan. He's on the ground. Caleb McGarry looks at Matt Ryan on the ground and turns his back, adjusts his shoulder pads, and stand there as if he's ready to play for the next. And like I said, I don't know if this is Mike Davis. If it is, yeah, I'm like, if this is Mike Davis, like I said, I don't know who said that quote. I don't know where it came from. But if it is him, like, he just need to shut up, okay? Shut the hell up. Like I said, I want to get confirmation on that quote before I really speak on it. But if it is, all I said is some Davis. I don't know if it's Mike Davis. All I know it is Davis, and I don't really know many writers named Davis. But if you are calling from a team for a teammate's job and you're a player, get the fuck off my team. Get off of my team now. That's not what players should be doing. You should be worried about your damn job instead of worrying about another player's job. But again, we need to worry about people that is actually starters. You know what I'm saying? Because getting 1 yard a carry, that ain't starters numbers. But again, man, yeah. Like I said, I don't know who it is. I don't think it's Mike Davis. I don't think a player would say anything like that.
A lot of people kind of confirming that it wasn't Mike Davis.
Yeah, I don't think it's Mike Davis, but even that quote in itself is stupid because we got running backs that can't run for more than 1 yard in the game, and you worried about Caleb McGarry on one play. Just like this is stuff we talking about, reporters. Like let's stop being stupid. Like this is ignorance. You got guys out here who literally can't run for 1 yard out of 15 carries, okay? In the game, this dude literally running less than 1 yard a carry, and you worried about Caleb McGarry not picking up Matt Ryan off on one play. Come on, man. Where's the priorities? Why are we not? These are the things I'm talking about. This man literally, for whatever reason, I don't care. Look, I'm going to just say this. Calvin really ain't here. This ship is going down, and he ain't here. But we worried about Caleb McGarry, who's playing. Just think about that for a second. It's silliness, bro. Y'all writing articles on people who playing, and they got nothing to say with people who either playing like crap or they not even there. Silly, bro. Just I'll never understand. I will forever defend about someone who's actually on the field, giving their all, getting their ass beat, than somebody who's not even showing up, or somebody who's playing, but look, not getting, like, they're not showing any type. Like, at the end of the day, you just gotta stop. You just gotta stop with this.
Right.
That's bro. I don't even know what to say about that.
Right. But shout out to Torch TV. I know he just joined the chat. I see people showing him some love, and like I said, y'all continue to show him some love as well. But like I said, the one thing that I saw that Mike Davis has been doing well, as far as on more than a few occasions, is pass protection. So, but like I said, that's just one of those cases where you might have to limit him to that, and just pretty much just make him like a secondary fullback. Use him in like a Jason Snelling role. Maybe that'd be something that might be better for him.
Or just use him as a change of pace back as well, KStylzz. Like I heard you talk about it last show. I think it was last night, and I had mentioned it. I think during our post game show 2 weeks ago, where I talked about. I think it was after the Dallas game, where I just said I think at this point Mike Davis is just at the point where the role is just too big for him, the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? He came here, they paid him. It's one thing to be a backup, but everybody's not made to be a starter. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't deal with that pressure of being that guy when we're depending on you. How many times have we seen guys like Fitzpatrick that's been around the league? It's like he's a backup when he comes in. He's that spark plug. He comes in, wins a couple games. But then when a team signs him to be like their starter, he just doesn't perform. You know what I'm saying? Is that too much pressure? So I think it's the same thing with Mike Davis. Like, it's just too much pressure. He's not a number one running back. He's a backup, just like Taysom Hill. Y'all talked about him last night. Yeah. Taysom Hill. He's not a starter. Like, we seen Jameis go down. I don't know what it is with Sean Payton and his love affair with Taysom Hill. It's a reason they gave him the contract they gave him. If he was a starter, as soon as Jameis went down for the season, he would be the starter. Why he not starting if he's the starting quarterback? Why is he not starting?
Right.
Right now, they're starting Trevor Siemian. When we played against them, they started Trevor Siemian against us because Taysom Hill is not a starting quarterback. So it's the same thing with Mike Davis. I just think he's not a starting running back, period. He just doesn't have what it takes. We've seen, we gave him his opportunity, and he couldn't handle the pressure. So at this point, I wouldn't say don't play him at all. I would just say play him, like you said, in a smaller role. Like, let him go back to do what he was doing in Carolina, so it's not as much pressure. It's like just come in and spell somebody, or come in during short yardage because we're struggling on 3rd and 1s, and come in and on short yardage, or come in on be a goal line back because he just ain't he just not ready. He's just not a starting running back.
Right. But everything at the end of the day, like I said, Falcons team is struggling. Like I said, this even though we could say that the team is not that great, but it's all mental. Right now, it's just all mental. Like I said, they just have to get out. They got to get out this rut. And right now, you don't really have that window to be bullshitting around with it. You got to come out the gate swinging. Like you said, we just have to look at for what it is. Like you said, we don't have a number one running back, and that's really what it comes down to. And if we hype in Mike Davis to be the number one running back, hey, that's our fault as fans for falling into it.
Man, I ain't hyping his ass to do nothing but get more than 1 yard.
Everybody hyped it. Your ass hyped his ass.
I ain't hyping.
Your ass hyped his up too. Don't.
I ain't hyping. I'm not claiming that. I don't care what you say. I'm not claiming that. Nope.
I'll say this. I'm gonna say this about the running back position. Just as Atlanta Falcons fans, and y'all know where I'm going with this. We need to stop paying running backs, period. The Falcons as an organization, we just need to get away from paying running backs, period. Draft a running back yearly. Make that a priority. Draft a running back. It don't have to be in the first round, the third, the fourth, the fifth round. And I'll give you guys a prime example. Like I told you guys, this week I was just sitting back analyzing just everything, analyzing our team. Sometimes, you get beat so bad, you just got to sit back and analyze yourself. Don't worry about no other team. Just sit back and analyze. And I was just scouring the league, and I was looking at the Colts. A lot of people are talking about Jonathan. What's the Colts running back's name? Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor. People forget
him. I actually marked him coming out of the draft. I really wanted him to be.
Yeah, he was a guy like that of Wisconsin as well, Mike. But a lot of people have forgotten that Marlon Mack was that dude a couple years ago for them. So where I'm going with this is this: you can find running backs a dime a dozen. Marlon Mack was a guy that everybody was talking about how great of a running back he was until he got injured with the Colts, and now they have Jonathan Taylor. So what it shows is year in and year out, just go out and draft a running back, because running backs are a dime a dozen in the league. We see it year in and year out. The Patriots have been known for bringing in different running backs. Even the 49ers, if you look at them, Kyle Shanahan brings in running backs yearly. So the Falcons need to get away from paying these old guys. Like, I wouldn't sign no more veteran running backs. If I'm the Falcons, go in the draft and just bring in a stable of running backs. You can use different guys. Like we even see with CP. He came in on a 1-year deal. We gave Mike Davis, a 2-year deal. But to be honest, we would have been okay with just bringing in CP and then drafting a young running back. And I was really surprised that we didn't go in and draft a guy to come in and fit in this scheme to be that power back, like a Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots. Like, you can draft them. So I feel like as a Falcons, we just need to get away from paying veteran running backs altogether, because every time we do it, we get bit by it. We paid Steven Jackson. He didn't pan out. Now we paid Mike Davis. It didn't pan out. We paid Todd Gurley. Like, it just is not working out. So we need to go away from paying these older running backs in general. I don't care if they were great in their past. Just get away from it. Just go out and draft a younger running back, because they're a dime a dozen. You can find them in the league. They're a dime a dozen.
Hell, you could throw damn Devontae Freeman in that damn discussion too.
Exactly. And now he with the Ravens, and he's a part of a 3 or 4 headed monster.
Mm-hmm.
They're a dime a dozen. You don't need a top running back. Like the Derrick Henrys are few far in between. Those guys, you may get, an Adrian Peterson or, a King Henry that comes out, but those guys are not, you rarely see those guys like that. You know what I'm saying? So stop thinking you're gonna have a running back on your team for 5 years and he's gonna be that consistent bell cow. Because if you do, eventually they're gonna get hurt. Like because what do we keep saying? He's gonna get hurt. We kept talking about it week in and week out. Yeah, Derrick Henry's has great numbers, but those hits are adding up. And at the end of the day, in the NFL, it's one thing that's guaranteed. Eventually, you're gonna have some type of injury as a running back. It's been proven. I don't care how great of a running back you are. It's been proven that you're going to be at some point get banged up.
Yeah, cause even with Adrian Peterson, them hits started adding up, and you saw the decline right there.
Right, and I think the Titans, just cut him today. So it just goes to show you, they signed him and they just cut him. So that's what I'm saying. You can find running backs. It's a reason they cut them because they can bring in somebody or they found somebody on their team. Phillip Lindsay is another running back that just got cut, I think, by the Texans. So, I mean, you can find a running back. We're good. We're good. We don't need to bring in no more veteran guys. I was hearing them talking about Marlon Mack possibly coming to the Falcons, or a lot of fans wanted him in the offseason. I'm like, no, we don't need no more guys that's injury, these veteran guys. Just bring in a young running back or bring in a couple young running backs and let them do their thing.
Yeah, because when Derrick Henry got hurt, this dude had 219 carries in 8 games.
I don't know what the hell they were thinking. That's just crazy. That's crazy.
Let's do the math. I'm gonna do the mathematics on that. Let me see.
Nah, we good on that. You don't need no math. We just know that too damn much.
27.3 carries per game.
Too much.
Right. And then have you noticed that, like you said, it's like a lot of these teams that are winning these Super Bowls, that are winning these games, it's not about having that one bell cow back no more. This is like Ju just said, like Mike always preached. This NFL is different. You cannot have a bell cow back. You need a staple. You need a stable of them, at least 2 or 3. Because the benefits of having those 2 or 3 running backs is somebody's going to be healthy when it comes to the playoffs and the end of the year. That's less hits that he got to take. You need a stable. You need 2, 3 good running backs. They don't have to be great, but they have to fit what you're doing. And that's kind of what we're lacking right now. Because even going back to 2016 and 2017, where you had Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman, everybody forget Teron Ward was a damn good back for him.
Oh, yeah, man. That's why I hate getting into conversation of who was better, Tevin Coleman or Freeman. Like, to me, they were good as a stable, like you said. It really wasn't about who was better as an individual. Shanahan used those guys together, well. And that's what it's about. Football is a team sport. It's not about having one great guy. You got to have a team of, and that's what I was not so upset about Julio Jones leaving. I wanted Julio to stay, but at the same time, I think we became too Julio Jones dependent, and that was a problem. Like, you don't want to depend on one player in the game of football. You talked about a KStylzz with a quarterback. We all focused on a quarterback. It's not about just having a great quarterback. You have to have a team around that quarterback. Like, we know that Aaron Rodgers is great, but if he was on a better team, he would have more Super Bowls. Let's be real. Like, we always look at Aaron Rodgers and we say, well, he got 1 Super Bowl because of the team he's on. You put Aaron Rodgers on the Patriots, or you put Aaron Rodgers on a team that has a defense, a team that understands you need to have a great team around you to win, he would have more Super Bowls. Matt Ryan, if you put Matt Ryan on a team that understands you need a great defense or a decent defense, you have to protect your quarterback. You put him on one of those teams, Matt Ryan has multiple Super Bowls, easy. You put him on Baltimore and you flip-flop him with Joe Flacco, who they compared him with coming out in the draft, Matt Ryan easily wins a couple Super Bowls with Baltimore in that defense. Easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, like you say, you just said the key thing with Aaron Rodgers, with folks like Aaron Rodgers, with Drew Brees. Yes, they have one Super Bowl, but why do they only have one Super Bowl?
Because they've been asked to carry the whole franchise on their back, bro, and that doesn't work. Like I tell people, it doesn't work in the NFL. You're not going to win with one player. It's been proven. Like we seen Pat Mahomes. We seen Pat Mahomes last year in the Super Bowl. We seen him early in this season while he was struggling, when he was trying to carry the team by himself because the defense won't doing their job. When you're trying to carry a franchise on your own, you're going to fail in the NFL.
Right.
It's a reason why Tom Brady chose Tampa, because he understood they have a defense, and he also understood I can bring players with me. He went out and got AB. He went out and got Gronk. Even though they already had Evans and they already had Godwin, but Tom Brady understands that it takes the team aspect. Like he knows I can be as great as I want to be, but it's a reason why he went to Tampa, and it's because of that defense. He understood they had a great defense and a good offensive line. You got that, you set.
Right. Right. But just like with this comment right here, Drew Brees had a good defense in his last few years, though. That's not a guarantee. But at the end of the day.
But even with him being old as hell, Mike, like what a lot of people championship games and making deep playoff runs, like that's success. You know what I'm saying? Would you rather be the Falcons right now and like missing the playoffs every year, or would you rather be in the playoffs and actually making deep playoff push? Like everybody talks about them losing to the Rams in an NFC championship game, but it's like, would you rather be like, I would rather be in the playoffs and take my chances than to be outside looking in. That's just me personally. So at the end of the day, as much as we joke the Saints and we laugh at Drew Brees and stuff like that, I don't feel like his last couple years were a failure, because they were actually making deep playoff pushes. They didn't win, but they made a deep playoff push. And I'd rather be like the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl every year and lose it than never get a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Like, you know how many players dream of just even playing in that game? Like, I don't think Jim Kelly and any of those players that lost those Super Bowls would have rather said, man, I would have rather lost or not made the playoffs than to have those 4 experiences and those 4 chances to actually win a ring. Like, that's just me. Personally, I'd rather get there and lose and not get there at all.
But like you said, the consistency that comes with it, like you said, it's you got to have the right team. It had, like I said, it has to be at the right moment. It has to be the right team. And you have to think, all the teams that consistently go to the playoffs build their teams the same way. Offensive line, defense, then worry about the skilled players after that. That's how you build a championship. That I ain't gonna say that, like I said, because a championship team, anybody can win a championship going on the right, being hot at the right time. But in order to be consistent in the playoffs, you have to have the right built team. Because, like I said, we talk about Aaron Rodgers. We forget about Aaron Jones. You forget the fact that Devontae Adams emerging as one of the best receivers in the league. You forget Jair Alexander being one of the best corners in the league. The defense and stuff like that. The building pieces that keeps the team in the playoff hunt. And this is what a lot of people forget. And that's one thing I always ask people when they talk about what the quarterback thing is. So you're telling me the quarterback is the only position that determines whether or not you win a championship? Like, no. Because if that was the case, all the top quarterbacks that be in the league right now at least have at least 3 Super Bowls. If it was that
played in a couple of them. Like people keep talking about Aaron Rodgers. He only didn't play in 1 Super Bowl. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. Like, as great as Aaron Rodgers is, all the MVPs that he's won, he's played in the same amount of Super Bowls as Matt Ryan. But Matt Ryan gets so much dirt thrown on him. But it's like he's played in the same exact amount of games as Aaron Rodgers. The bad man that Stephen A. Smith always talks about is played in 1 Super Bowl.
See, the only difference that they'll say with that one is, like I said, the Packers have consistently been in the playoffs. Like I said, the Falcons have been kind of inconsistent as far as we go to the playoffs, miss a few years, go to the playoffs, miss a few years. But that comes down to how the team is structured. It comes down to building that foundation. The Falcons ain't got the foundation built. It was built on, we're going to have all these wide receivers, all these playmakers on the outside. We're going to have mediocre guys protecting, mediocre guys in the trenches. You don't build teams like that. You build teams inside out, not outside in. And the Rams are going to be really, really. It's going to be a real interesting year for them because they've literally gave up their whole next year's draft for this team to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna win it, KStylzz. That's my hot take. The Rams are not going to the Super Bowl. The Rams are not going to the Super Bowl. And y'all can keep the receipts. And Jew telling you right now, the Rams are not going to the Super Bowl. The reason I say that is because what we were just talking about. The Rams are not a physical team. That's the Rams' problem. The Rams are not physical. If you go see the last game that they lost, the first game with Odell out there, I think it was against the 49ers. Mm-hmm. They're not physical. If you're a team that's going to run the ball against them, all they want to do is rush the passer. But they jump out of their lanes. They're not good at stopping the run. And they're not willing to run the football consistently. And they're down without their top running back as well. I think he went out with a season-ending injury early in this. I think he got hurt in training camp. But
I think Cam Akers. I think he's supposed to be coming back soon.
Oh, he's coming back. Okay.
Robert Woods is out for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're not going though. That's my hot take. The Rams are not going to be in the Super Bowl. Everybody think they are because of the guys that they have, but I don't think that they're a physical enough team. From what I'm seeing, it's a lot of red flags when I watch the Rams play.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said. And like I said, we can agree to disagree, but I'm building a foundation, bro. I don't give a damn what nobody says. Like you said, just like you said, running backs are a dime a dozen, quarterbacks are a dime a dozen too. It's not guaranteed that you're gonna get the next fucking Joe Montana out in this motherfucker. It's not even guaranteed.
Today, that don't matter. If you don't have a running game and you can't stop the run, you can't run the ball, you're not going to win. Because all team got to do is play keep away, and they got multiple ways they can play keep away. They play that crappy RPO stuff. Like, I absolutely can't stand it because it teaches quarterbacks bad habits, and but it's good for keeping the ball away, like I said, running the clock out and stuff like that, time possession. But as far as that, yeah, I hate it. I absolutely hate the RPO.
Right. Y'all go ahead and wind it down for the night.
Yeah, I don't see any questions.
Yeah. I only thing I really see out here is pretty much what people been saying, like Cleveland here damn near have a perfect roster outside of Baker Mayfield, and that's what's keeping Baker Mayfield in Cleveland right now is because of that team. That's how I want to build a team. I want to build a team like that. It don't have to be the exact great players like that, but the idea and the foundation of it, and that's what Terry did with this draft with as little money as he had. Was he had the right idea. But like you said, the main problem is when the previous regime, the top player, when you have players that you were planning to build this team around, all of a sudden are not on this team anymore or want out, it changes the whole game plan. And Prove It said he's a Baker Mayfield fan. I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan, to be honest with you.
I'm not a Cleveland fan. I think there's a problem there. I just don't think they have a chemistry. I think that team would be right back in the dirt in the next 2 years because of guys like Baker Mayfield. I don't think, because when you see a guy like Odell just willing to they're just willing to get rid of him and they traded for him, that's not a good sign. That's the same thing we saw with Julio and the same thing we see with Calvin Ridley. These guys just don't want to be there for whatever reason. So I don't think Cleveland is going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And then, like you said, remember everybody thought these Jacksonville Jaguars that we are playing this summer. Remember when Saxonville had that? When Saxonville had that one season, it went down the drain the next year. So, like I said, a lot of this stuff ain't guaranteed. But you got to take advantage of opportunities when they come to you. Let's see. Okay, we got some about Matt Ryan's. What should be done about Ryan's contract so it could be a team friendly so we can sign better players? Do you see an extension coming?
Bro, how much time are we going?
Mike don't even know. We only have.
I ain't answer this shit no more, bro.
Yeah,
we already pretty much said it. We didn't what Birdman said. I didn't did it already. We just said it already. At the end of the day, like we said, man, like I was just saying, it's not about one player. When it comes to a team, it's not about one player. Like what we got to realize is Matt Ryan's deal is already team friendly. Like, do we know what these other quarterbacks are making?
I want to say something. Let me say this right quick.
Ali, yeah, go ahead.
Let me say this right quick. If you talking about, like I said, a lot of people complain about his money. Do you realize the reason why he's making as much money as he is because of him restructuring to try to keep guys around him to help him win?
Ali just joined.
I'm not talking.
Let me answer that real quick for him because he just joined and
I wasn't talking about Ali, but I was just talking about just the general aspect of it.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, Matt Ryan already restructured his contract. That's gonna be a team friendly we possibly can until we actually restructure, actually extend him. So that's the best we can do at this moment is extend Matt Ryan. It's not going to get any better outside of extending him and giving him more money. So it's not. Look, Matt Ryan, even let's just say we give him $40 million. Let's just say we give him $40 million. That still doesn't count for the $140 million you have left allocated with the team. The team salary cap for every franchise right now is $182 million. So even if we do, this is why we just say, like, I don't understand why people can't keep saying that Matt Ryan contract is a problem. It's not a problem. One player contract will never be a team's issue. The issue has always been and will always be general managers who give contracts to guys like Robert Alford, extend guys like Devontae Freeman. We can keep on going. Like I love Trufant at the time, but he wasn't worth $60 million at the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that. It's things like that that really give him Muhammad Sanu. He like, come on, we could have got another a guy to do what he does. To be a physical receiver and just go across the middle. I mean, we pretty much doing that now with Kyle Pitts. So it's so many things you can do to help save money. The problem is that you just don't give players who really don't deserve that big time money, because we gave Robert Alford $40 million, bro. This dude was like the worst. Statistically, this dude was the absolute worst cornerback that year in his best year, and we turned around and gave him $40 million. Those are the things that ruin the salary cap. So it's not, Matt Ryan making 40 or Tom Brady making $40 million. It's what you do with the other money that really hinders, make or break your franchise.
Mm-hmm. That's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, you gotta know how to make the GMs and stuff. They gotta know how to make the decisions on players. That's why we gotta throw New England here again. That's why they don't really give re-signs to a lot of players, because it's all about or they'll trade a guy a year before he's up. Like this is how franchises keep winning. They don't pay guys based on 1 year. They look at the whole body of work and they'll see, this might be a flash in the pan this year, so I'm not going to take a chance on him. And that was the problem. We took a chance on a lot of guys, and we paid for it this year. The last 3 years we done paid for it. Like you said, you had the $40 million with Robert Alford. You had the $60 million between Carpenter and Jamon Brown. You still had the Devontae Freeman contract. Yeah. You still had the Devontae Freeman contract that you had to deal with for the last 2 years. So that was about, for 2 years, that's about $18 million you had to deal with. You still had Desmond Trufant's contract you had to deal with for the last 2 years. That was for both seasons about $12 million right there. So, like I said, it ain't just Matt Ryan's money. You got to look at the guys that got extensions and got cut a year into the extensions that we still had to pay for.
Those extensions, those contract extensions, that's what really kills teams, because you're giving guys that you could possibly
replace.
You can replace. You can, like we could have replaced. There can't nobody in this world tell me we couldn't replace Robert Alford. I don't give them what nobody says. Ain't no one here. We already got a Robert Alford on the team. His name's Fabian Moreau. So we could have done. We could have kept the $40 million inside.
And think about the time when they got the deal. That was $40 million that you could have brought in a guy like Ndamukong Suh at the time. Or you could have brought in a guy like Robert Quinn at the time. But you put that $40 million to a corner that was rated one of the worst corners in the NFL as far as pretty much all the corners, and you gave him the money that year. So at the end of the day, man, like you said, one guy's contract ain't gonna deter. Even if you look at Patrick Mahomes' contract, yes, it's a $500 million contract, but in the next 2 years, he can get cut anytime with no cap penalties. That's how you do business like that. Instead of blaming, like I said, telling people, instead of blaming his money, you need to look at the guys he restructured for that left or got cut. Because all restructuring is you're taking money away from that year and you pushing it back to the tail end of the contract. So now you're in a situation where it's like y'all want to get rid of them so bad. If you get rid of them, you're looking at about $45 million in dead cap money. About $40 million in dead cap money. Yeah, it ain't gonna work. No. That's just like what Bridget Kelsey, she said, why folks only worry about Matt Ryan's money and nobody else's.
That's what I don't get. That's a great question.
Because they hate Matt Ryan's guts and everything that he stands for. So they got to. If there was any other quarterback that had the same exact career that he did, they wouldn't be as pissed off about that quarterback as they would about Matt Ryan. But let's go ahead and wind it down. Go ahead and wind it down for the night. And Ali, they was like, yeah, I earned every penny, got paid. Thanks for time for explaining, going over extensions. Hey, man, that's what we do, man. That's like I said. And we ain't always right on everything, but what we try to do is we try to give the best explanation as possible. And we're always learning. That's just basically how we do it. But we're gonna go ahead and wind it down. We appreciate everybody tuning in to the heavy hitters. I know we kind of got a little bit more on the educational side of the game at the end of the show. You know how these shows always end up. I guess Juden hopped off right quick, but go ahead, Mike. Let you start off and blessing us with your final thoughts.
I ain't blessing with shit. I'm about to say F y'all, and no, I'm just playing. I'm gonna say this, and most of y'all probably dog fans anyway, and y'all get this. At some point, we should know how important coaching is, because we had an okay coach. Mark Richt wasn't bad, but he did a lot of dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of dumb stuff, and I'm just talking about whether it's recruiting. He did a lot of dumb crap recruiting. That's a whole nother story. But mostly, a lot of his mistakes came because it just wasn't very smart in game managing situations and crucial times. Just he did a lot of dumb stuff that shouldn't, and that's pretty much what we talk about with the Atlanta Falcons. And one of the reasons why I said to begin with that Arthur Smith was prime to be the Atlanta Falcons head coach is because he's great in those times. He knows when to run the damn ball. Okay, he knows when to run the damn ball instead of passing the 50 times with Matt Ryan. All right, we saw what that got us these two past weeks, two past games. Matt Ryan just had to step back and pass to receivers that not very good. Yeah, it got his head smashed in. All right, it got his head smashed in. He's bleeding all over the damn place. You know what I'm saying? It got us absolute nowhere. So why am I bringing up the Bulldogs? Is because they brought in a coach who wanted to focus on two things: running the ball and playing defense. Running the ball and playing defense. That's all Kirby want to do. He don't care about no quarterback. We obviously know that by now. He wants to run the ball and play defense. All right? And they're the number one team in the country. All right? So, again, why do I bring that up? That's a recipe for success. This is going to be his, I forget how many national championships, SEC championships, but this could potentially be his second one. Why? Because he ran the ball and he played defense. All right? Run the damn ball. Okay? Run. Come on, KStylzz, say it with me. The
damn ball.
Simple as that. It's really just that simple. We've been throwing the ball with Matt Ryan. We decided we just wanted to throw the ball with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez, and that shit got us nowhere. Kind of get it? Kind of get what we're saying? It got us nowhere. So all that, Arthur Smith need to be aggressive. No, he doesn't. He need to run the damn ball and play defense. That's how you're gonna get a championship. So at the end of the day, y'all ain't gonna like the new style of Falcons football, but that's what wins. Running the damn ball and playing defense wins championships. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. There's a couple comments here. Me Red Machine said, "Is it normal that I feel such a real connection with you guys?" Hey man, you just appreciate what we do, and like I said, that's what we do. We try to connect with everybody here. That's why we always say Atlanta Falcons Nation ain't just us; it's everybody that tunes in and comments every time we come on. That's why you always hit them notification bells to make sure all of us is on. And Devon said, "Thank you for the happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Y'all helped me get through this Thanksgiving prep."
Yes,
hey, definitely. Yeah. And look, G-Town Baller 5 said, "Yeah, it sold tickets. But did it win championships?"
Did it win a championship? Yeah, it looked good.
It looked good.
But did you win, though?
That was the same thing with the Michael Vick era. It looked good, but did it win championships? No. We went from, like I said, you went from a run-dominated team. And I'm saying, I'm going to use this as an example. When it's going from Michael Vick to Matt Ryan, you went from a dominant running team that couldn't pass the ball and played okay defense. Now you're making the same mistakes to where now you're throwing the ball, but you can't run the ball. And your defense can't stop nobody. So, like you said, it's pretty much two of the eras pretty much been the same. It's just two different styles. And I saw one. I know Bridget, she was talking to Triple G, said she was going back and forth with folks about Matt Ryan on social media. I see a dude that posts 10 times a day talking mess about him. I think he in love with Matt. And that's the one thing they'll never admit. And like I said, if they gonna talk about him and spend all their energy trying to talk about how bad he is, in reality, underneath all that, they really love him because you wouldn't be taking that much time.
You cannot pay me to talk about LeBron James. I don't want nothing. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to see no highlight. I don't want to do none of that. You can't pay me to talk about LeBron. So obviously you guys got some love affair with Matt Ryan because every show on Twitter, Facebook, it don't matter. That man is in y'all thoughts.
hey, look, I just say it like this, and I'm gonna end mine with this. If there's a player that I hate that much, that I can't stand that much, I'm not even putting no energy in talking about that person.
Exactly.
But if you're gonna put your energy into talking about somebody that you despise that much, in reality, you're either miserable or you love this guy way too much because he's in your damn head. And that's just like me talking. Like I said, that's just like me talking about I can't stand Baker. Like I can't stand Baker Mayfield like that as a quarterback. Do you see me talk about Baker Mayfield 15, 20 times a day?
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know he had that disdain for Baker Mayfield. Why? Because he don't talk about it.
Exactly. And that's how you supposed to do it. Like I said, instead of talking about the quarterback you hate that much, talk about the quarterback you see that will improve this team. Now, people saying Justin Fields was like that. That's fine. But if I hate somebody that much, I'm not putting no energy towards that. I'm just going to talk about the guy that I want to see succeed. Did we even do Q&As? Kind of did, but a lot of people really didn't ask a lot of questions. So just if you got questions for all the rest of the shows, like I said, you just leave them in the comment section.
We can make videos for y'all.
We make videos and all that.
We still got a lot of questions that y'all left in the community tab. We have a community tab on AFN, and Mad Mike Sports, KStylzz. Leave a question. Leave a question that we make the videos. Trust me, we'll make videos, and we might make an entire show based on that video, on that question.
Right. That's what that like I said, when y'all tune into the 6-man combo, that's what the Ask 6-Man Q&A portion of that show is. It's based on the question that y'all ask. And if y'all ain't sending no questions, there ain't gonna be no Ask 6-Man KStylzz portion of that show. But hey man, we about to go ahead and get up on out of here. I'm gonna work in the morning. So yeah, we're gonna say Kyle Ramos came a little late, said what up though? Detroit here. Hey man, appreciate you, man. But we about to go ahead and step off. As we say here at AFN, we ain't here to play. We here to stay. You ain't gotta go home.
But it gotta get the hell out of here.
Deuces.
Bam.
Oh, for your mama.